What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're going to be doing a mid-taper on my boy, so stay tuned. We're going to be starting off by separating the top from the sides and making sure our canvas is nice and neat. We're also doing this so we don't cut any hairs that we don't want to cut. Now that we're done cleaning up our canvas, we can move on to our foreguard all the way closed and create our first guideline. We're also going to use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper while flicking out with our guard. Now that we're done creating our first guideline with our foreguard all the way closed, we can move on to our clipper oval comb method and start to debulk the sides. Make sure to use your vertical cuts to blend and your horizontal cuts to debulk. Make sure to keep a consistent shape, especially when you're using your clipper oval comb method. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now we're using our foreguard all the way open just to make sure everything's nice and blended, and we're going right above our foreguard all the way open. Moving on to our gold effects, we're going to create our first guideline in the side taper and then move on to the back. Now that we're done shaving off the sideburns and creating our first guideline on the side taper, we can move on to the back and create our first guideline in the back taper. You always want to make sure you contour these guidelines to the shape of their head or neck. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You always want to make sure you make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get it ready for the half guard. That's going to help you connect to that no guard all the way open. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard and our lever, we can move on to our half guard and use our corners to erase the line completely. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. This guard is going to help us bridge from our large guards and our smaller guards, because then we're going to soften up this line and get ready for our 1.5 guard that's going to connect to our one guard all the way open. Now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so switching over to your one guard all the way open and using as corners will definitely help. Now I'm going back to my previous guards, which is the 2 guard all the way open, and I'm making sure it connects smoothly to the 3 guard all the way open. Now that we're done with our guard work, we can move on to our gold effects and start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch. Remember to go slow enough that the hair feeds into the trimmer, because if not, then you won't line them up properly. Be very careful near the ear area because the skin is very soft there, so you could nick them with the teeth of the trimmer. Since we already made our first guideline, we can move straight to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're then going to close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now we're moving on to our one guard all the way open and we're creating our third guideline. Make sure to use your corners, especially when you're on the side tapers. Now we're getting ready for our 1.5 guard and our 2 guard all the way open. Once you're done softening up the line with the 2 guard and its lever, you can move on to your 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Again, sometimes there's still a faint line after using 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open would definitely help. Now we're moving on to our 3 guard all the way open, and this is going to help us connect to the 4 guard that we used on the sides. Now we're using our previous guards to detail as much as possible because there is a few guidelines that I see. Here we're going back to our 2 guard all the way open, and we're making sure we remove this guideline in the middle. Now we're moving on to our clipper oval comb, and we're going to debulk the top right hand corner and making sure it connects to the top. Now this is the most critical part. We're going to use our 1.5 guard and our 1 guard all the way open to detail between the 2. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below on my subscriber count. I want to see if you guys are paying attention. Now we're going to move on to our thinning shears, and we're going to thin out the parietal ridge. Now we're using our 3 guard all the way open to attack that dark spot on the top right hand corner. Now that we're done with our side taper, we can move on to his hairline and comb down his baby hairs and then line them up with our Gold FX. You want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then you won't line them up properly. Now we're moving on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades, and we're going to make them as crispy as possible. When you're using your razor, you always want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand, and also keep it at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bring guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid fade on my boy, so stay tuned. We're starting off by saturating the hair, combing everything into place, making sure our canvas is nice and neat. We're now moving on to our go to effects, and we're gonna create our first guideline, contouring to his head shape. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make sure you make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Now that we're done setting in the guideline, we're going to slowly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Always make sure to stretch the skin with your opposite hand to give you more space to blend. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. Make sure to use your lever and also the corners. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. We're also going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. This guard is going to help us connect to the 1 guard all the way open and also the 2 guard on top. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using your 1.5 guard, so you switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners would definitely help. Before we finish blending the parietal ridge, we're going to switch over to our 4 guard all the way closed and debulk the top. Now that we're done debulking the top and sides, we can move on to our 3 guard all the way open and create our 5th guideline. This is going to help us connect to the 4 guard on top and also the 2 guard all the way open. Here I'm using my 3 guard and my 2 guard all the way open to debulk and detail as much as possible. Now I'm switching over to my clipper over comb method to make the blend as smooth as possible. Now that we're done detailing the sides, we can move on to the back and start off with our no guard all the way open and then slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. We are near the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you take your time here and detail as much as possible. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can switch over to our 1 guard all the way open and create our 3rd guideline. We are right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you detail. Also use your lever to soften up the line as much as possible here. As you can see, now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Remember, we are using its lever and the corners. Since we're done with the lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. This guideline is going to help us get ready for the 1.5 guard and also blend into the 3 guard on top. Now we're switching over to our 3 guard all the way open, and this is going to help us connect to the 4 guard on top that we debulked with. We're also going to use a 4 guard all the way closed on the beard, the same thing we used on top. Before we line him up, we're going to make sure his hairline is nice and even with the foreguard closed. Now that we're done going against the grain on his hairline, we can move on to our Gold FX and start off in the middle, working our way to the sides. You always want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then you won't line them up properly. Moving on to my C cup, I'm starting off at the bottom and working my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. You also want to make sure you're going against the grain, especially if the hair is growing to the sides. Make sure to keep the corners and vertical bars as natural as possible. Nobody wants the corners too exaggerated. Now we're moving on to the C cup and we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch using its corners. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below of my subscriber count. I'm 100% going to reply to you guys. We're going to use our no guard all the way open to start off the fading the sideburns. We're then going to move on to our one guard all the way open and arch the clipper at a certain angle. Now that we're done with the one guard, we're switching over to our 1.5 guard all the way open, which is equivalent to a 2 guard closed. Now that we're done fading the beard, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. When you're using the razor, you always want to make sure you stretch the skin with your opposite hand as much as possible, and also keep the razor at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. Also, don't forget to use shave gel on the bottom of the neck, especially if they have coarse hair.